Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy. Back at it again is Rico. This is the Rico Report. Yes, we are here on a Friday evening. I will be joined by a special guest. Yes, you've heard it. We're going to talk about our draft class. Yes, are we done talking about the draft class? No, we are not, sir. Man, we are not. Not only that, we are going to touch on the schedule. A lot of people want to talk about the strength of schedule. How are we going to do? Are we going to go undefeated? Are there teams we need to face to prove ourselves again? Yes, we are going to touch on that. But more specifically, let me bring this down a little bit. More specifically, we are going to speak on our offensive line, the Buffalo Bills offensive line. And I can't speak on the Buffalo Bills offensive line by myself. I had to bring someone with me, someone that's an expert. I'm no expert. I'm just a pretty face. I'm just here to present the news to y'all, man. I kid, I joke. The only person that thinks that way is the wife, and she's allowed. Now, without further ado, let me bring on my guest, Mr. I need y'all to give him a warm welcome, Mr. Scott Kennedy. Scott, how are you today, sir?
Rico, I don't know if I can live up to that introduction because I'm not an expert or a pretty face anymore. I got old. I got old all of a sudden. So I'm just here, and the jokes aren't even very good. So I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do with you. But I appreciate you having me on. I like the mood music just a little bit coming in, get you nice and relaxed. And on a Friday night, where would I rather be than talking football?
Where would you rather be than on the Rico Report? And you know what? I thank you for joining us. So, folks, you're probably wondering who this individual is with me. Now, Scott Kennedy is a man of talents. He's a busy man, I'll tell you that much. So, Scott, can you please explain to the folks who you are, what you're here to do, and what you're here to talk about, your background?
You know, what's funny is for the past 5 years or so, people have asked me, what do you do? And I said, whatever needs to be done. That's kind of what I'd end up doing. No, for those of you who don't know me or seen me around before, my name's Scott Kennedy. I'm from the South, lived out in California, and how I cut my teeth in this business was a lot through high school to college football recruiting. I was a director of scouting at scout.com, dabbled a little bit in the NFL draft, did a lot of that. And then I was brought in by the NFL Network for a year or two to talk college football prospects. So I knew these guys since they were kids, literally, since they were 14, 15 years old. So a little bit of backstory on that, on the guys through. But I grew up an Atlanta sports fan, so therefore I had to follow the draft because as a child of the 80s, my teams were terrible. So I was all about minor league baseball and the NFL draft. And that just kind of, it's fun. We were talking a little bit beforehand. The speculation and trying to figure things out, it's like digging for treasure. And you know what? I like being right, so I do my homework.
You know what? Everyone likes being right. They don't like being wrong, right? So it's tough to double down, and a lot of times people double down on things, right? A premonition of this person will be great or this team will succeed, and then they flop, and then you look like a fraud. Right.
And then Rico, that's when you can tell when journalists get mad. When journalists go out on a limb and say something like that and prognosticate like this team, I really like them, and then they flop, you're going to catch a lot of hell from that journalist in the future. They're pissed.
Not only they're pissed, it's as if their brand took a hit because people are unforgiving. You make one tiny mishap, or you were too soon. Sometimes it's not about being too soon. It's about being, factual and correct. And do they ever take it personal? So I appreciate that you're here to help me speak on our draft class. So let's get right into this. The Bills draft class. Initially, while the draft is going on, are you a fan of their draft? Or was it one of those things where you're like, I don't like it now, but now that I'm looking at it, I like it. What were your thoughts with the Bills draft class?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm not an overall draft expert, so I can't go 1 to 8 on these guys, all through the 7. What I can do is speak on the guys that I've seen extensively. I was down in Mobile at the Senior Bowl, and those are the guys that I saw the most. So I had Boogie Basham pegged 2nd round, maybe even sneaking into the 1st. Love him. We can go into these guys. And then, one of the guys you talked to me about, though, was Spencer Brown. So we can go there. however you want to talk about them. But I saw Marquez Stevenson down there, and I saw Jack Anderson down there as well. So, those are the guys I'm most familiar with. And the key here about, is I always like to say I want to show you and not just tell you. So I've got video on all these guys on my YouTube channel.
Wonderful.
From highlights from there, because I want to tell you what I see, but I also want to show you, because the people that are paying attention this closely, we're junkies. They want to see it and make their own decisions too. I try to help with that.
Well, and here's the thing: if you guys want to see a little bit more of these player breakdowns and why Scott feels enamored with any one of these prospects and now NFL players, please hit up my man's YouTube channel. He's at 700 subscribers, which is a crime. It's a crime. We need to get him at least. Bills Mafia, let's help my man out. Let's get him over at least 1,000 just to get him going. And then now it's going to skyrocket. And I want a bit of credit when you get over to 1,000 subscribers on yours.
Without a doubt, I'm gonna turn it into something that when I have you on mine, you're gonna get bumps. So I've spent the last 20 years building other people's businesses. It's my turn.
You know what? I appreciate the love. So go ahead.
I'm building my own now. I did it with Scout, which was bought by Fox, then by CBS. We turned 13 million unique users over at Sports Illustrated, doing the Fan Nation. I forgot, they renamed it after I left. So now it's time. I enjoy doing my own thing. I enjoy doing these kind of things with people like you, Rico.
I actually love it, man. So C/Scott Kennedy. It's that simple. You want to see more. If you're not convinced on certain players, Spencer Brown being one of them, please go over to Scott Kennedy's YouTube page. I think he can sway you.
And Rico, I'm always in the comments. You can go back to see what I said about Spencer Brown. You can go back to January, because that's when I got back from Mobile. I posted his videos and I called him the best prospect at the Senior Bowl. Period.
You know what? And we're gonna go right to the Senior Bowl. All right. Senior Bowl. Spencer Brown. And we're going to touch on it, but I need to get right into the Spencer Brown, because this is it's a hot topic. It's a hot topic. And you know what? I'm just gonna go right to it. All right. I have a clip that I want to play for everybody, just so they have context as to where we are going with this. Just a second, folks.
Spencer Brown, how big of a sleeper is he now? I still consider him a sleeper, because he's still sitting in the in mock drafts in the 3rd and 4th round. There's some, and especially the Pittsburgh Steelers mock drafts have him higher than that. But for me, I've seen them take him. There's some that is creeping into the 1st round, but you take a guy to Northern Iowa, 6'8" and a half. If you're getting him in the 3rd round, I don't see any way he lasts that long. He did. He did.
That's a hot take, and you did this a month, I believe, before the draft.
That was at least that was probably in February. So that was probably in February.
So these are the moments where I'm gonna go. This is where you can take a bow, because you called it.
Well, he went lower. He went lower than I thought he did. So what I want to do is I want him to go become an 8-time Pro Bowler. And then I want you to play that clip again.
I absolutely love that. Now, here's why I bring that clip up, because it lets people understand why there's hype around this Spencer Brown, right? 6'8", 315 pounds, light on his feet, slim, carries his weight extremely well. You think he was a tight end, for crying out loud. He's that sculpted to be a right tackle. Now, I'm not sure how familiar you are with the Bills roster. Darrell Williams is our right tackle. Darrell Williams they just extended his contract. He got a 2 to 3 year contract. Most people would say, well, there's no need to hurry up Spencer Brown into that position. Wait a minute now. If camp comes around and it's undeniable to deny this man this position, are the Bills silly to start Brown over Darrell Williams?
No, it's nice, because it's kind of like negotiations. You're negotiating from a position of strength. So if you've got a guy there and the new guy beats him out, you just got better. That's okay. Now you've got now you've got backups too. Now you've got some depth. We're playing 17 games now. 18 weeks, you're going to need these guys. So having good quality depth on the offensive line is never a bad thing. And a third rounder, he's not costing you anything either.
What do you say to those that he's a third rounder? Just let him develop. He's a rookie. Why press him in? It's going to take time. You can't just start him over a guy that had a great year last year in Darrell Williams. How dare you even mention Spencer Brown? He wasn't even in competition with guys that are good enough. He played at Northwestern in North Illinois, Northwestern. What was it?
Northern Iowa. Okay.
Northwestern Iowa. Excuse me. He played at some small school. Like, stop it. What do you say to those that say that?
I don't argue with them. Okay, I'm not going to say you're going to have to earn it. Nothing's going to be given to you, especially at this position. Now, if you spend a first rounder on the guy, then there's pressure to play him. There's no pressure to play him, so he's going to have to earn it. And if he earns it, you play him. So this is a different scenario. This is a perfect scenario for not just Spencer Brown, but for Bills. You got a guy that I think is a first round talent in the third. There's no pressure to play him right away. You got a great talent, and you've already got a good player there. Now you've got depth. So if you want to get into why I'm so high on him, I've got the notes that are this long. So we can get started if there's any naysayers out there. And as good as I feel about him doesn't mean I'm right. I'm trying to predict the future. It could all go away tomorrow, but I'll go through a litany of reasons why I feel pretty good about it.
Now, you said something that really stands out to me is you're not really hurting the team if Spencer Brown takes over as starting right tackle. You got better, and people refuse to even bring that up as a point. They want to bash that point. To me, and I'm sure you heard anybody say it, you want to get your best five, whether you're playing basketball on the court, you want to get your best five on the ice, you want to get your best five blocking for your quarterback. So when folks want to combat you and bring up all these issues, I need you to give me 4 reasons. Give me 4 reasons that Spencer Brown could surprise, not to you, but could surprise a lot of Bills fans as the starting week 1 right tackle.
Well, like I said, I don't know enough about your right tackle now to say he should beat him out. I'll tell you why I think he's good enough to play right away.
Floor is yours.
4 reasons are easy. You mentioned the frame. I'm at Senior Bowl, and there's a saying out there that says film doesn't lie. Yes, it does. It does. Your eyes will lie to you in person. You have to have some perspective. So he walks out there, and he looks just fantastic. We talk about on the hoof, the look test. He's 6'8", 315, and if you're looking at him by himself standing there, he looks like a linebacker. And then you go and you read the charts, you're like, wait a minute, he's 6'8", 315 pounds? That might be too tall. So you start having those kind of questions. Is this guy going to be able to play with any kind of leverage? You watch him get down in his stance, and if he's at right tackle and you're watching from the sideline and he's on the far side, he is so flexible, he disappears. He will disappear behind a 6'3" guard, getting down in his stance and getting with such flexibility. So he's got the flexibility and the bend. I coach baseball, and I use the football phrase all the time when they go down and they bend at their waist. I said, be a knee bender, not a waist bender. If we're calling you a waist bender, we're insulting you. He squats down. I mean, it's like a frog down there. It's incredible how low and the flexibility that he's get. So I don't worry about that, despite the fact that he's 6'8.5". Because again, you wonder, Brock Osweiler's coming out. Is he too tall at 6'8"? Maybe. Spencer Brown's not. He's going to play. By the time he's done, he's going to play at 340, and he's going to be 6'8.5", 340 pounds. So I'm not worried about the flexibility and the leverage.
Perfect.
Have you seen him put 500 pounds off of his bench press?
Haven't seen the footage yet.
I don't care if it's not if it would have been disqualified at a powerlifting competition, which is what people are going to put in the comments. If you're 6'8.5" and you can drop 500 pounds on your chest and get it back up, you're strong. You're real strong. And part of that is there's a condition, and Rico, you'll have to help me out with this because it's like 99% of basketball players where their wingspan is considerably longer than their height, and your height is about normal. His isn't quite like that. There's guys that are out there with like 7-foot wingspans at 6'6". he's got the wingspan of a guy that's closer to 6'6". So I think his shorter arms in this case actually help him get better leverage because he's got a 500-pound bench press. The guy did 33 reps at 225 at 6'8.5". So we got strength, we got flexibility. There's two. I can keep going if you want to.
Keep going. Don't stop. Don't stop. Keep going.
All right. 3. I don't want to get into measurables right now because the first thing that I noticed out there was that he was whipping every person they put in front of him in the Senior Bowl. And this isn't just, he's not going against Northern Iowa against some, FCS schools or, Division II, whoever like that. He's going against guys from Ohio State, from Notre Dame, and that was because that's who he was going against. I'm starting to forget who was on whose teams and stuff, but I've got all those on there. I've got every rep of the one-on-ones on from his day on there because somebody won each rep, so I put them all on there. I've got his wingspan. I'll look it up here in a little bit what he was measured out there. But he was beating the guys in front of him. His mobility, and we can get into the measurements because his workout measurements. After I saw all this at the Senior Bowl, I was interested in his pro day. It's you want to verify. You want as much information as you possibly can when you're seeing him glide to the second level. I mean, just glide to the second level and grab a linebacker and send him back through the end zone. I mean, just thing of beauty. Light on his feet. Yes. So then you start wanting to look for the measurements in his pro day. Have y'all talked about his pro day numbers? His pro day numbers.
Funny enough, we had our friend of the show, Kent Platty, and he scored a 10 on the RAS, the relative athletic score.
So what's that mean exactly? Okay, 6'8.5", 311, 488, 40. Okay, I get that. 31.5-inch vertical jump. All right, this is for your Buffalo Bills social media team. If you want to get something to go viral immediately, put him on a basketball court. Just have a little dunking contest with a guy that's 6'9", 32-inch vertical leap with hands like this and a wingspan. Just have him go dunk a few and bounce him off the backboard and say, this is our offensive tackle. Jesus, we could use him he's phenomenal. Frankly, his teammate Ellerson Smith, who got drafted by the Giants, I believe, is a freak of nature too. So I don't know what they were doing at Northern Iowa this last year. But those are good numbers. 488, that's solid. That's not eye-popping. Y'all heard of a guy named Kyle Pitts?
Absolutely.
Did you hear all the stuff that they were talking about Kyle Pitts? Generational talent.
Absolutely.
Freak of nature. All this type of stuff. Kyle Pitts had a 33.5-inch vertical. Spencer Brown's was 31.5. Kyle Pitts had a 7.12 L cone. Now, if you don't know what an L cone is, that's where you find your athletes. That and the short shuttle. It's not the 40 time. It's your L cone and your short shuttle.
Speak on it.
L cone is you go up and around. You're changing direction. Spencer Brown's was 6'9". There were 5 players in 2019 at the Combine who ran a sub 7 L cone over 250 pounds, and the heaviest was 270. He was 311. 5. That's it. 5. Kyle Pitts' L cone was 7.12. Spencer Brown had a better pro day than the generational freak of talent, perfect tight end ever than Kyle Pitts. This is Spencer Brown. So I saw all these things in person. That's the most, and I wrote about it before he had a pro day. This is the best prospect here. Premium position, frame, athleticism, dominance. And then he goes out and does that at his pro day? Are you kidding me? Yeah, I'm high on Spencer Brown.
One more thing for me, and I want you to give me your favorite point about Spencer Brown.
His flexibility.
Flexibility?
Because if you've got that frame, the guy I immediately compared him to was Nate Soldier. So y'all probably saw a lot of him with the Patriots. First round pick of the Patriots 10, 11 years ago. He was better than Nate Soldier at every point because Nate Soldier was at the Senior Bowl out of Colorado. He was at the Senior Bowl too. So I saw him in the same type of setting, doing the same type of things. Spencer Brown was ahead of Nate Soldier the whole way. So Nate Soldier went in the first round. I'm like, all right, well, Spencer Brown's got to go in the first round then, right? But you got him in the third. You got a friggin' steal.
All right. So you have the naysayers that will say, well, Scott, if he was so good, generational talent, Why did he fall to the 3rd round? He should have been a first rounder.
Maybe a small sample size of the level of competition, where he hasn't gone out and do it, but that didn't hurt Trey Lance. Trey Lance scares the hell out of me compared to what Spencer Brown has done. Ellerson Smith, if you just Google his pro days too, he was his teammate. He had 21 sacks. So instead of transferring to a bigger school, which he could have done, he went and got a master's in NFL football with Joe Staley out in California. There was an article, it came out last 24 hours, I think, on Syracuse.com up in your neck of the woods, about how he spent the past year. And he went and worked out and basically did film sessions and everything with Joe Staley the last year out in California. So he got a master's in NFL. That's what he's been doing. It showed. So I don't think he's going to be as far behind as a guy who spent time at Northern Iowa from a picking up the scheme type of standpoint. And he certainly wasn't physically, because I saw him get beat one time. Jonathan Cooper beat him off the edge one time the entire week that I was there in Mobile. Once. He was dominating people.
I absolutely love that. I have a question coming from one of our supporters, Namdi. That's my guy, Namdi. He says, who was Spencer Brown's most impressive rep against in the Senior Bowl? And i.e., was there a 1st or 2nd round defensive end that dominated at the Senior Bowl?
Here, let me look at my list of who was there. And Backbone 5 subscribed already. Thank you.
Love it.
I'll look up my while you're going through some
while you talk about that, I'm gonna jump in and folks, I'm here with Scott Kennedy. He is he's got his own YouTube channel on everything. He's got something to do with the Atlanta Falcons. He's from the South. He's a Southern boy. He's got Spencer Brown chatter. He's got anything that you were looking for in terms of draft prospects and why we should fall in love with these prospects. Scott's your man. And I need you guys to go and hit up my guy Scott's channel. The link is going to be in the description. However, I can't just do that. I'm going to have to put it on screen for you guys to realize that you guys need to subscribe to my guy's channel, and we need to get him over 1,000 subscribers, right? Smash that like while you're there. Smash that like while you're here, and then head over to Scott Kennedy. Scott, talk to us on that.
So I've got I've got the guys that were there, and I don't remember for sure who all he went against every time, but Dalen Hayes from Notre Dame was there. Jonathan Cooper from Ohio State was there. I don't even want to try and pronounce Levi Onwuzurike from Washington. National Patrick Jones, he got pushed around everywhere. When he fell down, I think he fell completely out of the draft. Patrick Jones, it didn't surprise me that the kid from Pitt, because people had asked me, where the Patrick Jones video? I'm like, well, unfortunately, he's on all of the offensive lineman highlights. The digital version of being posterized. So you just go look. I've got him labeled who he went against and all those.
Perfect.
He was on the national team, so the one-on-one offense defense one-on-ones on national. If you sort by most viewed, it's right at the top on my channel.
So I'm going to ask you about Scott. Scott, I'm going to ask you about this. Looking at Spencer Brown, and I know we're fixated on Spencer Brown because that is the hot topic right now on Bill's social media platforms, right? Can he unseat the right tackle? Now, what is it about Spencer Brown's game that stands out? Is he more of a nasty run blocker? Is he more of a pass protection guy where he's not letting anything pass you, or is he well balanced, or is he favored in one aspect of the game more than the other?
Well, for me, I think once he starts going up against a 300-pound 3-4 defensive end, we'll find out more about how ready he is. So right now, I think he would excel because his greatest strength is his frame and his athleticism. His athleticism is elite. I mean, it's elite. 9'6". I'm looking up guys here. Your first-round draft pick had a 7'5" L cone. Gregory Rousseau, he's 4 steps behind Spencer Brown running the L cone. That's incredible. So for me, he's a guy you want to, chuck and release, and he's on the second level. So that's going to be his strength, is getting to the second level and hitting the linebackers. He's going to do that better than anybody. Can he hold his own at the point of attack? Yes, he can.
So I think this is probably a very obvious answer, but I have to ask it anyway for those that are still skeptical. if Spencer Brown,
Rico, you should be. He still has to go prove it.
He does. He definitely does.
Be skeptical.
He's
But you should be excited because this is you're drawing him up. You're building him weird science, and you're building this guy to be an offensive tackle. This is the guy you built.
Yep. Absolutely. So let's just say he goes to University of Miami, or he goes to Ohio State. He goes to USC. Is he a first round? No question.
I think if he had probably transferred and done that instead of gone and majored in, like I said, he wouldn't got a master's in the NFL. If he transfers down to the SEC, plays all his games, I don't know if it would have I don't know if it would have mattered in the Big Ten because they didn't play enough, and that was all kind of weird how they handled it. But you go in the Pac-12, nobody watched the Pac-12 this year. So that wouldn't have helped. Go down to the SEC, and you got a pretty good chance.
So these are the things I want you to see. This is the type of chatter we get, right? Both of you guys are talking like this guy's a starter out of the gate, right? And it's not like we're saying that, but he's got the tools to be there. This is the type
I don't know. I don't know enough about your offensive line. You could have Jonathan Ogden on one tackle and Buselli on the other one. Then this guy's not playing.
Gotcha.
We talk about playing early as a matter of talent. Playing early is not about talent; it's about depth. So if you've got two really strong offensive tackles, he's going to sit for a while. And there's nothing wrong with that. He'll get his time in. You need rotation. You're going to need depth. I'm just saying what you've got is a prospect that you should be really excited about. I am. I can't wait to watch him play. There's a joke I've been using for years. When you're in scouting, you stop rooting for the names on the front of the jersey. You start rooting them on the back. And the reason why is because the one I root for the most is me. I root for me. When I come in here and tell you that Spencer Brown is an elite prospect, by God, I want him to be an elite prospect. I want y'all to come back and say, Scott, you were right. That was awesome. Thank you. That's what I hope for. So doesn't mean I'm going to be right, but I'm certainly can't wait to watch him play for Buffalo. And
we certainly are. We are hopeful for something great. Like you said, if he's starting, that's a damn good thing for the Bills altogether. I mean, shoot, we might make you a Bills fan. You might even swap over from Atlanta to Bills. I'm just saying, and we can make some room on the wagon. We can make some room on the wagon for you.
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason not to be. It's not like there's a big Buffalo. New York, forget about it. And, New York, New Jersey, But there's not a lot of animosity between Atlanta and the South and Buffalo. Shoot.
No,
Buffalo is you've got a lot more in common with the South than you do with Manhattan and Buffalo. I'll tell you that.
I hear you. I hear you on that. So we're gonna move away from Spencer Brown. I want to talk on Gregory Rousseau and Boogie Basham. The Bills double down. They double dip. Some people don't like when you take a chip and you double dip in the you got to dip once and get out, right? But what we did was we dipped, took a bite of the chip, and went back into the dip. Some might say that's a no-no. Talk to me on the double dipping the Bills did with going with Gregory Rousseau and Boogie Basham. Those two prospects, are you in favor of having both those guys? Is one going to start sooner than the other, or is this going to be something where one's going to develop a little slower?
Well, Rico, honestly, I don't know as much about Rousseau as Basham. I didn't watch him as much.
Right.
I think of him more as the prospect. And when you're talking about rating players, there's a line: production and potential. And the higher those two meet, the higher you're going to get drafted. Boogie Basham's a bit of a tweener, and I think that's why he fell some. He's 6'3", 270 pounds, but I like that. You find a package because he played inside and outside at the Senior Bowl and was damn good at both. So depending on what scheme you want to run, down and distance, if you want to rush 4, it's 3rd and 12. Yeah, drop him inside. Let him do a swim move and go in. If you're playing the run and you need to stand up a tight end or take on a double team, he's going to play at 285, 290 by the time he's in his 2nd or 3rd year. I really like him. So Rousseau, I think, is probably a little more athletic. Got a bigger frame on him, obviously. So it's a different skill set, but I really, really like the versatility of Boogie Basham. And I had him pegged as maybe even sneaking into the 1st round, and wrote that was a guy that one of the 3 or 4 guys that I would have taken with the Atlanta Falcons pick, who had the 3rd pick in the 3rd round. So when he fell down towards the end of the 3rd round, steal. So I saw those two picks, Spencer Brown and Boogie Basham. I'm like, oh yeah, you got such great value there.
Okay, so we're liking the double dip on the defensive side of the ball. All right, so we're gonna flip over. So we've already spoken about Spencer Brown, Tommy Doyle, University of Ohio, Miami, Ohio. Speak on Tommy Doyle.
I can't. I can't.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't. The guys I know, I got to see a lot of Marquez Stevenson down there. And I saw a little bit of DeMar Hamlin, but the safeties didn't really get involved aside from Richie Grant, the UCF guy who I wrote about when I got back. I said, this is a guy the Falcons should take in the third, and they did. I'm like, yay. Actually, they got him in the second. I'm like, I like being right. Remember me telling you who I root for?
Yep.
This guy. So, but DeMar Hamlin I didn't see a ton of him. Marquez Stevenson, the receivers.
That's who I want to speak on because
there wasn't a wow guy. And frankly, because if you're a wow guy, you're not playing receiver at the Senior Bowl. You're a junior and you came out early. Flat out. The Senior Bowl is better for the grown men positions where the strength is more important than the skill. I say linemen are built, skill positions are born. You don't typically find running backs at the Senior Bowl. You don't typically find corners and receivers at the Senior Bowl because they're coming out as juniors. Your elite guys are coming out as juniors. But Marquez Stevenson, when he was down there, let me look him up real quick. You guys probably have it, just what he measured when he was down there.
So as you're looking at
182.
Yep.
We talk about that reach, 75-inch reach. So I'm going down there and I'm looking at all these reach. He's got that's 6'3". I'm like, he's 5'10". How the hell does he have a 6'3" reach? So I went and measured mine again because I'm 6'1". I'm like, yeah, I got a 73-inch reach. That's 6'1". So all these guys, they have such long arms, and he was solid. They weren't put in a position. And if you've ever gone to an all-star game, it's so hard to play offense. It just is. It takes them half the day just to get the snap from center right, and everybody not false starting every time. So it's really tough to play offense at these all-star games. But in and out of drills, good hands. Played bigger than the 5'10", 185 pounds. So again, you're talking value there.
You mentioned hands, and this is where I'm no Scott Kennedy, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is correct, but this is what I saw watching film on Mr. Stevenson. He's not a Sammy Watkins type of receiver where he'll snag the ball out of the air. He's not a Stephon Diggs where they don't wait for the ball. Stevenson gives me wait for the ball, catch it, trap it against his body vibe. I'm not saying I'm not a fan of it, but I notice it, and those are the ones that usually come up with those easy drops where you're like, focus, snag that ball. Well, did you see those things as well?
The other part of that, Rico, and I watched him mostly in drills because, again, it's once the game starts, I'm looking at his movement and that type of stuff. I didn't extensively scout him. Like, I got a good look at the lineman. So for me, it's a super high level evaluation for him. It's not that intense. But what you're saying, not only when you're letting the ball come into you, you got 2.5 feet. That's a step. If I can get the ball here, a step is a tenth of a second in a 40 time. So you're giving that defensive back an extra step. And in the NFL, that's all it takes.
Right.
So, meet the ball, go out and get it, catch it with your hands. And, the catchphrase that's come out in the last 10 years is catch radius. What's your catch rate? That's one of the things people like about Kyle Pitts. The guy's out there playing with like lacrosse wickets. He's snagging the ball 10, 12 feet in the air.
See, the thing is that I'm trying to, because right now, the receivings, and I don't expect you to know too much about these Bills, but the receiving core is a stacked one. I'd like to say it's a stacked one, right? You have the likes of Stephon Diggs. Mm-hmm. You have Cole Beasley. You have former UCF receiver Gabriel Davis.
Where's your big guy in there? Because I just heard two little guys.
Okay, there's Isaiah Hodgins.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
right? There's Isaiah Hodgins, big boy, right? And then we now go into the tailing off at who makes this roster. Stevenson is part of that crew. Then you got Isaiah McKenzie, smaller guy. It seems like you favor the big guys. So the big guys on this receiving core, Isaiah Hodgins, Gabriel Davis. Those are your big boys. Do you really need that many big boys anyway?
No, having two out there, is good. And everybody's got their biases. That's what makes us who we are, or else we'd all just be robots.
And I forgot to even tell you Emmanuel Sanders as well.
So speed, plenty of speed. And I say, one of my biases, I like big receivers. They're always open. One of my first receivers that I scouted down here was Calvin Johnson. Julio Jones was from the South. AJ Green's from the South. I grew up with the likes of in the 80s, the 49ers, the 90s, the Cowboys. What do you got? You got big tight ends, big receivers, good running game, good defense. Somehow the fullback went away after all of that, but the tight end started to come back. In the aughts, the tight end disappeared. So if we can thank the Patriots for anything, and trust me, we're not going to thank them for much. I thank them for bringing the tight end back in vogue, because it's fun watching a 260-pound guy get into the secondary and start trucking people. That's fun. That's why we like football, right? As long as I'm not on the other end of it.
It totally. And funny enough, because you mentioned we're the big guys. We're the big guys. Well, we tried going with the big guys early in Josh Allen's career, right? We had Kelvin Biscuit Benjamin that is right now trying out for the Giants. I heard. I'd like to see how that goes.
Was from down in Miami, and Kelvin had some disciplinary issues.
Yes, and he had discipline of keeping the biscuits out of his mouth. That was the problem. So he's gone, right? So we had him. We had Andre Holmes. We had Zay Jones, Senior Bowl, right?
East Carolina. Yep.
Right? 6'2", 6'4", 6'6". Bums. I don't want to say bums, but they didn't do well for us. It didn't work out. And we went after small guys.
Let's take a look at this, Rico, though. But I mean, there's still, you're still not gonna. If all things equal, you're gonna take the bigger guy. But the thing is, they're not all equal, because there's the big guys that are super quick. They're not real easy to find, like that. But to your point on why this has changed a little bit, the rules have changed. In the last 10 years, every single rule that has been put into play has been there to help the passing game.
Yes.
You're not allowed to hit the receivers anymore. You're barely allowed to press them. You can't hit the quarterback. You're not allowed to tackle. They're going to call you for targeting. So, having those guys in the slot and the smaller receivers, and Stephon Diggs is different. I mean, he's different. OBJ, those guys are different. But if I've got a choice between someone like OBJ and Calvin Johnson, I'm going Calvin Johnson 9 times out of 9.
Let's be real. How many Calvin Johnsons are there?
And that's the point. That's why I say they're unique. So when I think big receivers of Buffalo, I think Eric Moulds. He was pretty good, wasn't he?
Big boy.
What about and I'm old, so I got to go back to the 80s. Was it Andre Reed? Andre Reed, thank you.
Andre Reed, right? So and here's the deal. You mentioned like the game has changed. I think philosophies have changed as well. Sometimes it's not about the big boys going after and catch radius. It's about separation, right? A guy like Cole Beasley,
and
5'8",
and
5'9".
The running game now is a slip screen.
You damn right.
The running game now is a slip screen. So that's why you don't need running backs anymore. You can just put anybody back there because you're
whoa, Mr.
3-4 receivers are going to be.
Mr. Kennedy, you just said you can just throw any running back there.
I know. I don't mean it. I love running backs.
Okay, thank you very much. You're back in my graces.
I'm pissed off that people don't like running backs anymore. I'm like, I was,
Speak on it. I've been trying to tell people stop disrespecting the running back name. They're a diamond. You know what? I need you to help me out with something, because you've manifested something in me, and I need you to do this for me. Go 1 second. Scott Kennedy, speak on this for me, please. Running backs are a dime a dozen. Can you defend? I need you to defend the running backs that are hearing that they're a dime a dozen.
I don't even think they're a dime a dozen. I think it's just that their shelf life is so short that people are afraid to spend big draft capital and big money on them. Because when you've got how do you defend when you've got a top 5 running back? You know it. You have to game plan for them. They're complete difference makers. But how long a window? When you're seeing quarterbacks play 20 years now, like we are playing into their 40s. You've got a shelf life of what? 3-4 high quality years at a running back. I think that is the concern. It's not necessarily that a good running back can still be the best player on the field. He just it's just you're not going to have him as long. It's almost like having a college running back. It's like, yeah, we're going to enjoy him, but we better get another one. So people are afraid to pay him and take him and use that draft capital when you've got offensive skill players playing decades with an S. So I think that's really it more than anything, because we hear about the phrase Leonard Fournette is probably the best running back I scouted coming out of high school.
All right.
And you hear the term playoff Lenny for a reason, because when Leonard Fournette is on, you're not stopping him. And if you can't stop him, you can't win the game. So I'm a huge fan of the running back. I just think it's the shelf life of the running back. And unfortunately, with the rookie contracts and those caps, they're just abusing these guys. I mean, they make enough money to make a living, for the rest of their lives. They'll make enough money and more money in 4 years than I'll make my entire life.
Right.
But they're spending a lot of money too. It's chew them out and spit them out, so we don't have to give them another contract, and it's sad.
And that's why you had the biggest stance that I've seen recently was Le'Veon Bell saying, I want to get paid, right? Mm-hmm. And he's almost played himself out of the league with the way he kind of did his business, because he could have got his bag, if you will, with the Steelers, but he decided to move all over the place. And right now, I don't know if he's even got a job right now. I think he's a free agent right now. But this is why these guys go for the money right now. Go ahead.
Rico, you know what I like seeing as much as anything is the new contracts that are being signed are guaranteed. I don't know if you've noticed that, but I keep seeing the first round guys that are signing is 4 years, fully guaranteed. I'm like, thank God.
Hey, yeah.
Because the media holds the water for these officials that hold their credentials over their head that say, well, he's holding out. He's got a contract. Those 10 guys just had contracts that you just waived, and you're not paying them another dime.
No,
so
you're not.
A contract in the NFL is typically a series of one-year club options. That's it. As long as it's good for the club, then they'll keep them. Otherwise, we're going to waive you, and we're not going to pay you anything else. So the most dangerous sport with the most, as far as the most physical contact, the shortest shelf life, the hardest on your quality of life when you're finished with it is the NFL, and they're the ones without the guaranteed contracts. Come on now, union, let's get it together.
Let's get it together. Scott Kennedy, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, if you guys, and Scott, we're going to keep you on because it's about to get heated right now. And I hope you're ready for this, because we got some things to touch on, because you've now opened up conversation about the running back room. So we're going to head into the running back room of the Buffalo Bills. You may not be familiar, but these guys aren't guys that have been in the league long enough for you to say, well, I'm not too familiar with these guys. So number one, Zach Moss, right? Former running back out of Utah. Then we've got Devin Singletary. What are your thoughts on Zach Moss or Devin Singletary? If you are familiar with their,
I'm not. Unfortunately, after spending 15 years scouting players, I then spent 4 years building businesses. So there's a gap in there with the young guys that I've missed.
Okay.
So it's like, you want to talk older guys or the fresh crop, I'm good, but there's a little bit of a window where I'm just not as familiar with the players as I should be, and I will be once I dive back into this full time again, like I've started to now.
Okay, well, there's one player that you might have to have done your homework on. His name, he goes by the name of Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Did you partake in the evaluation of Josh Allen coming out of college?
He didn't. Coming out of high school, I didn't know who he was. So the first time I heard, yeah, exactly. So therefore, that guy sneaks under my radar, like Trey Lance, because a lot of these guys that are coming out, they're stars when they're 15 or 16 years old. No pun intended. They get stars by their names literally, but they're media stars when they're this. Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields are first name basis on everybody in the state of Georgia when they're 16. So Josh Allen came under the radar a little bit. So it's one of those where Buffalo took that risk on a guy coming from a smaller area, lesser known guy. Now you're wondering, did the San Francisco 49ers, are they going to be able to do the same thing with Trey Lance? Because I don't typically worry too much about the level of competition, because the guy is still the guy. If you're from the South, every player you ever heard of played at a small high school around here.
Yep.
They played at a small school. And I like to say, Adrian Peterson is still Adrian Peterson, whether he's playing in a small school in Albany, New York, or he's down playing at Miami Central, Miami. He's still Adrian Peterson. So that doesn't bother me, but the smaller sample size for a guy like Trey bothers me. But I don't think that was as big a problem with Josh, was it? He was a starter for a while, right?
I mean, he played. He was the guy out of Wyoming. I mean, not coveted, very much so. I think that's the only school that freaking scouted him. Or actually, he took his tape out there, and then one team was like, "Hey, we'll bring you on," and rest is history. We're in the quarterback room. You're more well versed on the guys now, so. Mac Jones, aka branch manager Mac Jones, and you might not know what I'm talking about, but if you saw Mac Jones get drafted, he came out of that green room walking like he's about to open up the branch, the local branch, and welcome the township in. Right, that's Mac Jones. Right, he gets drafted to the most hated team in the NFL, the Patriots. We can't stand Patriots as Bills fans. We want nothing to do with them. Mac Jones. We celebrated when Mac Jones went to the Patriots. Now. Are we celebrating the wrong thing? Did they hit it on Mac Jones? Is he the real deal?
It depends. You know, when I watched him, you see a ton of him in Alabama, and what I really like about Mac Jones is they say, oh, he's at Alabama, he's better than everybody else. How often is he really getting hit? Well, a lot. You know, when you're playing LSU and Auburn and Georgia, you're going against guys that have 8 NFL guys on their defense every week. Right. So he's facing, NFL scout teams every single week. What I really like about Mac Jones is what he does with the blitz in his face. It's special. It's really good. He's not going to blow you away with his arm. He's not going to blow you away with his feet, but he gets the job done in a really nice way. There was a play, I think it was in the championship game against Ohio State, where backside blitz comes in, and he lofts the ball, just drops it in a bucket for Najee Harris. And then Najee Harris goes and does Najee things. And everybody's talking about Najee Harris. And they should. It was a phenomenal play once he got the ball. The fact that Mac got him the ball on that play was what opened my eyes. I already knew Najee Harris. Najee Harris was the number 1 player in the country coming out of high school, coming out of California. Everybody knew about Najee Harris. Mac Jones impressed me on that play. That's when I started thinking, okay. So I wrote about him because the Falcons have a 36-year-old quarterback in Matt Ryan. This was a deep quarterback class. Falcons are drafting 4th overall. They need a couple players. So I'm thinking a trade down would be best for them. I'm like, this is a guy they could trade down in the back end of the first round and maybe sneak him up to. So I'm thinking 20 to 30 for Mac Jones. And then all that talk started coming out about San Francisco at 3. I'm like, wait a minute now. Mm-hmm. Wait a minute. Am I missing this? But the thing is the quarterback position is the position in the NFL that relies the least on physical ability and the most on stuff you cannot measure. It's the intangibles. It's the calmness under pressure. You still have to have the enough factor. You still have to have enough size, enough arm, and all these type of things. But you don't hear other sports like you do in the NFL. It's like, oh yeah, he was on the basketball team in college until his sophomore season, and he decided to come out and play football, and now he's a first-round draft pick 2 years later. That doesn't happen in NBA and MLB. That happens in football. Football's an athlete game. But quarterback is more than being an athlete. And that stuff's a little bit hard to measure. And all this stuff that you talk about, the it factor, he's got it. So does he have enough of everything else? We'll see. I don't think there is no such thing as a sure thing.
Yeah.
But, I think he's going to be a good quarterback. I feel better about Spencer Brown being a good pro than I do Mac Jones. There's just more risk at the quarterback position, period.
Totally fair, because I almost a rhetorical question, because he ain't gonna do shit against the Bills, because the Bills are gonna be all over Mac Jones. We celebrated. We're like, hoo-hoo!
Not sure he starts, Rico. I don't know that he starts. I mean,
he won't. It's Cam Newton.
I don't know if he starts. I mean, if Cam Newton's healthy, Cam Newton's a better quarterback right now. That's not really even a question, is it?
Listen. Either way, Bills are celebrating. Cam Newton's a little older. I mean, and he may not be the same 2015 Cam Newton, and we know that he's regressed a little bit. Mac Jones, I think we're overhyping Mac Jones. We're going to continue to speak on the quarterback room, and then I'll let you go on with your evening. But I'm having a lot of fun with you, so we're gonna keep it rocking. So you have Zach Wilson going to the Jets. Real deal? I feel like he came out of nowhere, and then we propped him up, and now he's second quarterback taken.
He's got an elite arm. So when you're drafting a guy that high, you're looking for elite something. Is it size? Is it his arm? Is it his running ability? Is it a combination of both? For me, the first impressions are the ones that stick. So when you start talking about who does he remind me of, when I start thinking of strong arm gunslingers who can run around a little bit, I go old school and think like John Elway or Brett Favre. Those are two of the first guys that come to mind. I don't think he's as polished as a guy like Steve Young coming out who could run all over the place when he was coming out, when he was starting at San Francisco at the very beginning when taking over for Joe Montana. But Zach Wilson, he's a gunslinger. So the question, though, is with the Jets, does it matter? It doesn't matter. But I like what they did. They've gone out and tried to get him some tools. I was never a fan of Sam Darnold. I thought that trade was ridiculous. I thought he was a second or third round guy to begin with. And then you give up 3 second rounders to go up and get him. That was insane. Zach Wilson's got a chance.
He's got a chance. I like that. I'm gonna stop with the quarterbacks because it really won't matter because the Bills are gonna win the East again anyway. So Zach Wilson's gonna take some time. I like things that I see with Zach Wilson. I think the Jets are gonna be better than most people think. Tua Tagovailoa. I think I said his name correctly.
What's nice is the guys on TV, they say it 4 different ways, so they get one of them right. So,
and that's facts, right?
I call him copy and paste. That's how I say his name. Control C, Control V.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You're not wrong with that. Now is he okay? Well, speaking of Control C, Control V, is he ever going to Control V that into Miami?
They really wanted Jamar Chase. They wanted that bigger receiver. They wanted that number 1 guy. And when they traded down and they went up to back up to 6, they're like, okay, I thought they overtraded. They overspent to get back up to 6, but they're like, we're coming out of this with another number 1 and we're going to get the guy we want anyway. And then San Francisco trades away 3 drafts to go up and get another quarterback. And then they miss on Jamar Chase, and Kyle Pitts would have been a nice pick for them, a big number 1. But I think he's definitely good enough to make them a really dangerous team. What were they, 10-6 last year? Mm-hmm. And get better this year. He's going to have more weapons this year. So, there was some speculation. One of my friends and colleagues, Alan Pupar, covers the Miami Dolphins down there. He's not sold on Tua at all, and thought that if they stayed in that 3 spot, there was a chance that they could make a trade and go get a quarterback and get one of the big 3. But big 4, depending on where I had Justin Fields ahead of Zach Wilson and Trey Lance for the record. So
real deal. Why? You know what? We're gonna segue into it. Why the heck you're an Atlanta guy? That's your team. That's your. I don't know if it's just you cover that team or that's your team. You root for that team. Regardless, you pass on Justin Fields. You take a tight end with Matt Ryan. We don't know Matty Ice. We don't know how long Matty Ice is going to be able to be Matty Ice.
My social media headline that day was the Falcons go with a gutsy pick and take it. I said when they can't block, tackle. Wait, there was 3 of them. They can't block, tackle, or there's one more or anything. Play defense, run the ball, pass, protect, or tackle anybody. It takes guts to take a tight end when you've already got Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones. So I have been. But what was nice about drafting at the top of this draft order was even if you didn't like the pick, you were going to get a player that was exciting.
Sure.
Kyle Pitts is going to be an exciting player. Well, how do you stop these guys? You got Julio Jones. Frankly, Julio could get traded. Just for salary cap reasons.
You think he's getting traded for sure?
I think there's a pretty good chance to make the only way they're going to make the numbers work, I think, is if Julio goes. It's like, but let's pretend he's not. How are you going to go? You got Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, and Kyle Pitts. How are you going to stop these guys? The same way they've been stopping Atlanta for 4 years. You put Matt Ryan on his ass.
Thank you, man.
You keep him when you run into a wall and then you drop. It's 3rd and 12 every time. You only have to rush 4 to get to Matt Ryan, and then you can't stop anybody on defense. You took a receiver? Are you out of your mind with a 36-year-old quarterback on a 4-12 team? Yeah, you can get me started on Justin Fields, Rico.
I'm just saying, y'all fumbled the bag when you guys went after Kyle Pitts. Now, I wonder if it's one of those situations where it's BPA, take the best player available. And
that's what they say, but to me that's relative.
That's hogwash. Just say it. That's
no.
BS.
it's relative. You know, people say that like it's a fact. Like, well, this was the best player available. Was it?
On your board? If he's your best player available on your board, then yes.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he is going to be the best player that was available. Because for me, I would have gone with Penei Sewell in that same spot, who I think is a number 1 overall in a different draft at offensive tackle at a premium position on a team that is 27th rushing and gave up the 5th most sacks in the NFL. Then let's shore up the offensive line a little bit if you don't want to get a quarterback.
Let me tell you,
so we don't need to talk Falcons.
No, we do. Let's get into it because we talk about Bills all the time, right? These guys know, but sometimes it's okay to move on to around the league, right? So when I look at the Atlanta Falcons, you guys don't have a running back. Otto Smith, I think it's Otto Smith. I believe
and he was waived. They got Mike Davis from Carolina, who's a good player.
Okay,
he's a good player. So you're counting on, and I think what they brought in a new coach. They didn't bring in a new coach and say, okay, you're going to go 3-13 next year. You know, they brought in a new coach where they want to try and win some games. They are better than their 4-12 record. I mean, just look at the game. If with any kind of competency at all, and the games that they blew, they're almost statistically impossible. The three of the games they lost. They should be an 8-8 team last year. But you're hoping that the new offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith, coming in from Tennessee, will help protect some of the deficiencies in the offensive line with the scheme. He runs a lot of 2 tight end sets. Already brought in a big blocker, I think, from Buffalo and Lee Smith.
You want me to talk about Lee Smith?
should protect him a little bit. Should help protect the offensive line a little bit. Get the ball away a little quicker. How they're going to get better on defense, your guess is as good as mine. I have no idea.
Well, good luck to your Atlanta Falcons because they played the Bills this year, and we're going to wallop the Atlanta Falcons like we walloped the rest of the league last year. But it is what it is. Now, before you
it's hard to find a cocky Atlanta fan. It's got to be. I mean, we might talk a little bit of trash, but we've taken so much heartache that we're numb. I'm like, yeah, we know.
Sir, excuse me, sir. We've been there for a very long time. So we've just come out of that shell shock, right? Bills fans always, and I hate to use this example, but getting out of an abusive relationship, whether verbal or physical, and sometimes you're still, right? Because now we've been out of there for 4 years now. We're kind of now able to say, well, I don't see anybody near me or behind me.
I don't talk about that game very often, and that game, you know what I'm talking about.
You mean this one?
28-10.
You mean that one?
The one.
Yeah.
28-10. It went. I'm like, it can't be, can it? And that's what every Atlanta fan on earth.
How y'all screw that up, man?
There's so many ways.
Matt Ryan.
So many ways. It's not on Matt Ryan. That wasn't on Matt Ryan at all.
He's your quarterback, fam. He's your quarterback.
Yeah, Matt Ryan ain't calling the plays, though. Matt Ryan ain't the one rushing forward the whole time while they're waltzing up and down the field, not putting any pressure on the defense.
Did I open a wound?
You know, Matt Ryan's not the one that traded 5 picks for a wide receiver that ended up setting you back several years so you couldn't stop anybody or run the ball when you needed to.
Speak on it, Scott.
So, Julio Jones is great. Julio Jones is amazing. He's going to go down as the greatest Atlanta Falcon of all time for my money, and I've been watching 40 years. But that was a bad trade. If for anybody that doesn't know the circumstances around the Julio Jones draft pick and all those picks that they traded, they had just come off they were number 1 seed, I think, in the playoffs. Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers come to the Dome and throw 50 points on them. Didn't even force them to punt. Did not even force the Packers to punt. Ouch. So what do? You trade 5 picks, including 2 number 1s, for a receiver?
I'll never understand it. I just don't. I don't understand it. Y'all need to make some changes over there. We could lend you Brandon Bean to change the culture over there. Big baller Bean.
There's a good question from John Herring. Says, why is Matt Ryan Mr. Teflon? Why is Matt Ryan Mr. Teflon? He's a very polarizing figure in Atlanta because the quarterback, like the coach, gets more credit and more blame than they deserve. So he's gotten more credit for success and he's gotten more blame. Why I don't put it on him is because I've seen so much go wrong before it's the quarterback. It's like this has to get fixed, this has to get fixed, this has to get fixed, this has to get fixed before I say the quarterback's not good enough. And there's been so many fundamentally things wrong with this team over the last 10 years that I can't say if we had changed quarterbacks, all would have been well.
Would it have been a bad idea?
You can't run the ball and you can't play defense and you can't protect the quarterback.
You're dead.
What difference does it make who's playing quarterback?
You're done. So is Matt Ryan, do you still have a chance with Matt Ryan to still be a successful franchise?
If everything else was around him, if you fix those things that I mentioned, I said, but you're 27th ranked running game, the 5th most sacks. The passing game was a little better because you're always behind, and you had the 32nd ranked defense. Where is that Matt Ryan's problem?
Well, hold on a second. I'm not going to try to. Russell Wilson. Sometimes people would say the same, right? Not a great offensive line, running for his life constantly. Mm-hmm. Defense has not been the same like it used to be, right? So, but he masks a lot of deficiencies on the defense offensive line. Can you say that about Matt Ryan?
Matt Ryan's, for the most part, put up decent numbers. Can I say that? I don't know.
Because we're behind.
I don't know I'd have to look up Seattle's numbers to say, what's the floor there? What's the worst that they've been, and what were his numbers around it? So, I don't know.
Okay, and it was conversation. I think
what I know is if you switch Russell Wilson and Matt Ryan, I don't think Atlanta's gone any farther in the playoffs in the last 4 seasons.
Ooh, that's a good question, because I think if you put Russell Wilson on Atlanta, I think they're better off.
They might be better, but they're not going to be good enough. Okay. when you're 4-12, who gives a damn if you're 6-10?
Well, check this out. My guy Pierre says you can tell everything with how the Falcons are run when they pass on the general. I think he's trying to say about the generalization. What is he trying to say?
Generational. When you're talking about a lineman for another great pass catcher.
I'm a hot mess today.
Pierre,
generational lineman for another generational pass catcher. If Matt can get the ball off, it never matters.
Yeah, like I said, look at those mismatches all over the place. It doesn't matter when the quarterback's on his back.
Who are your linemen?
You need a mobile quarterback. No, you don't. You need an offensive line that can block.
Who are your linemen over there? Who do you guys have? Atlanta. Who?
Jake Matthews is still there. They just lost Alex Mack to the 49ers, so there's going to be a new center. Someone they're bringing in. Matt Gano, I think. Honestly, Rico, I don't know.
Your face tells me everything.
I don't know.
We'll leave it at that.
I know who the receivers are.
I always like when a fan of another team is like, I don't know, some guy is there.
Yeah, Jags.
That's why
Jags.
I feel your pain. They
got a bunch of Jags in the trenches aside from Grady Jarrett. Grady Jarrett's a beast. They got him in the 4th round. They got lucky. I mean, it's a good scouting job, but it wasn't like they were investing.
I will say this though: you guys have nice new uniforms though, clean, really good uniforms. So let me ask a couple more questions, and I'll let you get out of here because a lot of folks want to know about Jack Anderson. Familiar with Jack Anderson?
Jack Anderson.
Richie Incognito is what they're saying. Richie Incognito. Are we looking at that or what?
I can't speak about when I hear Richie Incognito, I think of off the field problems.
Okay.
So I can't speak on that if that's what they're mentioning. I don't know. But Jack Anderson was okay. He was a big name guy coming out of high school. Never lived up to that in college. At the Senior Bowl, he was a Jag. He was just a guy. So you took him in the 7th. You took him in the 7th. Okay.
Yep.
If he works out, great. If not, no harm done. So, there's some potential there. There's some guys in the 7th that I'm like, okay, special teams guy, or, this guy can help you here. I don't know if he will or not. He's a big body with a nice pedigree, but didn't show me anything to think that, be excited about this guy. Meh.
Man, it's okay. Man, you know what? I just learned a couple things the last couple months. Jag, just a guy, and a dad, I'm a dozen. So I'm learning on these little nice terminologies.
Just a guy.
Just a guy. So before you get out of here, I got to ask you, what do you grade if you're looking at the Bills draft class, Greg Rousseau, Boogie Basham, you've got Tommy Doyle, Spencer Brown, Stevenson, Hamlin. What do you draft? What do you give us as a draft?
I mean, for me, I go, it's tough. You're drafting at the bottom of the round every time, so it's not like you're getting you took a chance in the first on a high ceiling guy. There's a risk there. But, if you had gotten, going by Odafe now, if he had fallen just one or two more spots and you'd gotten Odafe Owe, I love the upside on him. I think his athleticism, when we would start talking about maybe the best athlete in the NFL right now, and that's a bold statement, I know.
Whoa. Run that back.
Odafe Owe out of Penn State, just from a pure size, speed, change of direction, burst. He's already gonna be like, if you guys probably aren't, I don't know how many people are old enough here to remember like the NFL competitions they had on Saturdays where they'd run through obstacle courses and all these type of things. Those were a lot of fun. I'd love to see Odafe Owe on one of those.
You mentioned Owe, and I think he went by Jason Owe, Odafe Owe, however you want to look at it. I absolutely wanted Owe on the Bills.
Yeah.
I absolutely wanted him on the Bills. 6'5", 250, 4.39. No sacks the year before. I understand, but you put him around great coaching, you can have a generational pass rusher right there.
And he still was named All Big Ten. So by the coaches. The coaches knew that they had to scheme around him. So part of that is scheme. Yeah, the production scares me a little bit, and that's why he fell. But if you're going to miss on a guy that's 6'5", 260 pounds with a 42-inch vertical leap that runs a 4.3.
I've been trying to say this to people, and people trying to tell me, no, he didn't have any sacks. You don't want that in the NFL level. I'm sorry. The coaching changes when you get into the NFL. They will tweak the things that you cannot do until.
And Rico, here's what I say about him is like, oh, the scheme this, the scheme that. Like, dude, I got one job for you. It's 3rd and 12. I want you to put your hand down and go get that guy with the ball. That's it. That's all I want you to do. And, you can make a lot of money getting a sack and a half a game. You finish the season with 20 sacks. You do that once a game, you're going to have some nice stats. So, but for me, Russo is a prospect. So it's a risk, but again, you're drafting 30. There's going to be risk involved. So you didn't get one of those. The top 15 in this draft were elite. It was a really good draft at the top of the board. After that, there was a red flag by everybody for one reason or another. What was it going to be? And with Greg Rousseau, it's a little bit of the production. But then I thought you got great value with Boogie Basham. You know what I think about Spencer Brown.
Yep.
So you got two guys that I thought could have gotten into the first round in the second and third. That's a pretty damn good job, isn't it?
Listen, man. The more I look at the draft class, the more I'm starting to appreciate it. The more I listen to your analysis on Spencer Brown, the more I think that Spencer Brown becomes the right tackle to start the season. I
don't know, but like we said, there's I don't know how many people watch college football recruiting and all those stupid stars, but sometimes you'll have a whole class of 5 stars, and then the 3-star ends up being the best player. We're like, well, that's okay. We might have missed on that guy, but he had to beat out 5 stars to play. So that means you've got a really good player in that position. So if he beats out the guy at right tackle,
I'm gonna put you on the spot. Will Spencer Brown win the right tackle position for the Buffalo Bills? You better say it with your chest, Scott.
Spencer Brown's going to be a Pro Bowler before he retires.
Can I give you the horn? Do you mind if I give it? You know what? I don't got to ask you for that. Spencer Brown will be a Pro Bowler. You're saying Pro Bowl?
I think he should be a Pro Bowler before he retires. He really should.
Okay. I mean, you could have won Hall of Fame, but I'll take Pro Bowl. I'll take Pro Bowl. Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Kennedy. I need you guys. I mean, it's already pinned in the chat. You guys already see it. Go and help my guy grow the channel. All right. C/Scott Kennedy.
Jason Humbert. Jason Humbert. Thank you for the subscription too. I got a notification on that one. So Jason, thank you very much.
Listen, Bills Mafia, man. When we support, we like what we see, and I try to bring on people that they need to know your channel more, because there are some questions that are thrown all over the place on social media, Twitter being that place. We need people like you to help us. So, guys,
well, and it makes more sense for guys like us, Rico and me, if you're on YouTube, because Twitter's not writing us any checks. Okay?
They're not.
You know, I tell people building these businesses all the time, social media has helped kill media, helped kill it. On YouTube has helped us, people like me and Rico, build a business. So thank you to Google and YouTube for that. They're going to take their cut like a good mafia should, but you know what? They're at least sharing it. Twitter ain't writing anybody any checks. So if you hit me up on YouTube, I promise you I will answer any questions you have.
Wonderful. So, Scott, listen, man, you've been fantastic. I hope to have you on more often. I like the vibe. The vibe is right, and I feel your pain when you speak on your Atlanta Falcons. I feel it, and I see another Rico across in the screen. So I'm like, I got you. You know what I mean? But I'm not feeling where you are, because we're right now on a high. We feel good right now.
Listen, I grew up with the Rankin Smith era with the Atlanta Falcons, where they went 40 years without back-to-back winning seasons. It was the longest of any professional franchise in any sport. This is like a golden era for Atlanta Falcons. Back-to-back losing seasons, no big deal.
Absolutely.
At least they try. At least they're trying to get better, and that's all we ask for, is put forth a good effort, spend the money. There's a reason we're in cap hell, because we got a good owner. It's not all bad. It isn't all bad.
Listen, I appreciate your time. You've been great. You gave us more to talk about with Spencer Brown, and I'm looking for a very good battle at right tackle. He may need time, but we'll see. But he will be a Pro Bowler before he retires. I remember that. So, ladies and gentlemen, Scott Kennedy. All right, you guys already know what it is. Go hit my man's up on his YouTube channel. Let's grow that thing to 1,000 in the next couple weeks. Let's try to get him to 1,000 in a couple weeks, man. Let's just push that thing. Scott, you've been gracious. Thank you so much for your time. Do you have anything that you want to drop to let people know where they can find you?
I'm interested. Just everybody's talking about Deshaun. I'm guessing Deshaun Watson right now.
I'm trying not to give it too much love right now.
I don't think anything is going to happen with Deshaun Watson until we figure out his legal situation.
Oh, hold on. Since we're talking about quarterback stuff,
all right,
Deshaun Watson, I can't let you go just yet.
Okay,
this Aaron Rodgers situation, we need to talk on it. What is going on with that?
So with Aaron Rodgers, I do a show with the Denver Broncos guys, Broncos for Breakfast, on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So that's a very popular topic. And the Broncos feel that they're a player away, really. They had a ton of injuries last year. They've got a bunch of good defense that they figure if they can bring in an NFL MVP guy, that they could be legit contenders, go from 5-11 to go in a long way. And if you're going to do it, you do it with a guy like Aaron Rodgers. So they're another team that passed on Justin Fields at 9. So maybe there was something to that. Now, I think when they're talking about 8 figures worth of $500 million, I think he sticks with Green Bay.
Do you pay someone that is so disgruntled with the company? Do you give him more money?
You don't. Well, you don't have to. You just you work it out. I don't think he's going to need more money. He's not going to leave. If he retires, he's got to pay back $11 million. Big Y. Thank you very much. I think he has to pay back $11 million if he retires. So you sit him out, and that basically ends his career. I don't think he wants to go out the bad guy in Green Bay either.
No.
He's got a legacy there that he doesn't want to be remembered as some type of snake. So I think it'll all get worked out, honestly.
I hope it does. You don't want to see the Packers not be the Packers, because if he leaves, the Packers aren't the Packers.
Yeah, and it comes to an end. I mean, if you're talking about like head coaches, let's talk Pittsburgh Steelers. They've had 2 in how many years now? 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the Packers seem to get their quarterbacks right. They do a pretty good job. There's not a lot of a revolving door right there. And the question in there was, do I think that Spencer Brown transitions to right tackle? I think he's got the athleticism to play at either tackle position. I think it might be a little easier on him early on. So that'll be up to depth. Who else do you have there at left tackle? Where do you need him more? But I think
Dawkins is doing pretty good.
When you're talking about the elite athleticism, I think, he could play left tackle.
Absolutely. Well, listen, we have people jumping on there, man. They love your vibe. On the Rico Report, we try to bring guests that aren't shy, speak their mind, and show a little bit of human touch. You know what I mean? We saw you hurt on screen. You showed vulnerability. We accept that here on the Rico Report. Ladies and gentlemen, my guy, Scott Kennedy. Scott, you've been great. Thank you so much. Guys, go hit him up on his channel. And Scott, we will link up again, man. I love the vibe that we have.
Looking forward to it. I mean, listen, what would I rather do on a Friday night than talk football?
Hey, Nothing. That's my guy. Let me give it a horns one more time. That's my guy, Scott Kennedy. Listen, have yourself a wonderful evening, and we will touch base and keep in touch. And I hope your Falcons do well. But once they come against the Bills, it's over for you guys.
This is where I've poured my fandom for any of y'all that are football fans. The NFL and college football became a job, so this is where my fandom is. That, and I got kids that play sports. That's a hell of a lot more important than what these billionaires are doing.
There you go. That's my guy. All right, Scott. Have yourself a great evening, my guy.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Kennedy. That was a great guest. Great guest. When you have guys like that are building, you guys catch it. The Buffalo Fanatics are building. We're constantly trying to build and give you guys as much content as possible, and podcasts and blogs and merch and a whole bunch of. This is big. The big times, man. And you have other guys like this that are trying to grow and build their channel. We're gonna support it all day, every day. We're gonna do that. So, folks, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm gonna keep going because it's only an hour and 16 in, and I haven't given you guys my thoughts on the schedule. Do you care to get my thoughts on the schedule? I don't really care about who we face. I think it's just fun when we face these people. I think that's the fun part. So let's dive into it. I wanted to put first of all, smash that like for those that are here right now. If you guys are enjoying the show, if you guys enjoy the Rico Report, if you guys enjoy the Buffalo Fanatics, do me a favor, smash that like real good. You know what I'm saying? Smash it. I'm gonna take this from someone that I know. Smash the like button like a cockroach in your house. And I hope you don't have cockroaches in your house. But if you do, you better stomp on that thing. We don't want cockroaches around you. So you smash that like a damn cockroach. So let's talk about it, folks. The schedule. Are you pleased with the schedule? And I never understood when people say, I'm mad about the schedule. I'm upset. What the fuck are you upset about? What can you be upset about? I'm not happy. About what? Sit your ass down on your couch and watch the football game. That's why you're there. Golly, man. Hombre. Appreciate you, man. Chris Janke. Appreciate you, bro. Rico, are you gonna show everyone Rated R Rico movie poster Tilt made you? Golly, let me talk on that, man. Tilt money. If you guys haven't realized, man, my guy Tilt absolutely put his foot all over that poster he made, man. Golly, that was I gotta give it to him, man. He crushed it. He did a fantastic job on that, man. He's just getting started. He's warming up. I swear, everybody's inspired. They're inspired. They don't want to talk about it, but I'll speak on it because my man won't talk about it. But they're inspired by my guy, Bobby. If you guys, I hate it because, we have Cher, the artist known as Cher. We have Prince. And then we have Bobby. You know what I mean? I need to give more love to my guy, Bobby. You know what I'm saying? So if you guys aren't familiar, my guy runs our IG page. Primo, one of the best pages, sports pages out, hands down. Don't even ask me a damn thing about anything else. When it comes to that, the guy's he's a stud. When it comes to that, he just gets it. So you learn a couple things along the way, and you inspire a lot of people along the way. We have a lot of stuff that's out there that's eerily similar to my guy Bobby's stuff. It's a compliment. And then You have our very own Tilt Money dabbling into the graphics game and did a fantastic job. Tilt Money. Shit, I might have you get to make me some thumbnails. Thumbnail man. You feel me? So anyway, shout out to my guy Tilt Money. Tilt Money so smooth on the mic. I had to upgrade. You'll have to notice I upgraded my mic because I was sick and tired of having Tilt outshine me with his silky smooth voice on the mic. So now you got competition, bitch. You got competition right now. Let's go. So folks, let's talk about this this schedule. All right. So looking at the schedule, who we face, let's take a look at it. So preseason, we get it. We just want to see our rookies play, blah, blah, blah. Who gives a damn? First week, we are up against, first 4 games. All right? The first 4 games, we're up against Pittsburgh, Miami, Washington, Houston. I don't see any reason as to why we can't go 4-0. We're facing a Pittsburgh Steelers team that the offensive line, I wouldn't say is depleted because they added some good pieces in the draft. They brought in Najee Harris. They have Benny, what's his name? Benny Hill. I can't remember his name. But they got Benny from Kansas, running back. They got Washington out there. They got Juju Smith-Schuster that came back. Pat Freiermuth. The Pittsburgh Steelers jumped on him. So they're not going to be, they didn't get worse, but they didn't get like where we're shook. So we should be able to take care of business against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And to me, it's Ben Roethlisberger. I think Ben Roethlisberger is over the hump. I don't think he's that guy. And I think that we're going to be all over Ben Roethlisberger. So I think I don't want to say we walk over the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I think that Benny Snell, thank you very much, John Herrick, for crying out loud. What's wrong with me today? I think that we take the W against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think we come out and we jump on the win. All right. Next up, Miami. They got us playing Miami in the second week. That's a tough one. If you have Tua Tagovailoa as your quarterback, you got a chance. And I think we're a little more polished on the offensive side of the ball. There's going to be a lot of things that they've got to kind of adjust to. But the Miami Dolphins have a heck of a receiving core. You think the Bills have a great receiving core. Miami's got a freaking hell of a receiving core, man. Devontae Parker, Waddell. You've got Will Fuller. You got Preston Williams. You got Joaquin Grant, Gesicki. That offense is legit, man. That offense is legit. If they somehow drafted Javonte Williams, I would have lost my shit. But they didn't. And you got Tua Tagovailoa that's back there. So we will have an opportunity. I think we take that game. And we go up 2-0. 2-0. We go up 2-0. All right. Then we face off against the Washington football team in Houston. Houston is a dub. We're going up against Tyrod Taylor. I just don't think Tyrod Taylor's that dude anymore. Or Deshaun Watson comes back. Who knows? But it won't matter. I think that team is not good enough to compete just yet. And on top of that, we're going up against the Washington football team against Tyler Heineke. Is it Tyler Heineke or Ryan Fitzpatrick? Could you imagine? We're going up against Fitzpatrick, and then followed up by Tyrod Taylor, 2 former Bills quarterbacks. How crazy is that? I honestly believe that we go 4-0. I honestly believe we go 4-0 out of the break. Shout out to my guy Cody. Says, "Yo, Rico, what's up, boss man? I'm just getting out of work. That's why I'm late." Well, Cody Finney, welcome to the show, baby. What's going on, man? What's going on, fam? Here's another thing too, folks. Let's look at this. This line here. So 4-0 in the first 4 weeks. Then we face Kansas City and then Tennessee. Golly, back to back. Isn't that what they did to us last year? They did it to us again. All right. Well, shit. We're gonna try to change things around. Tennessee Titans. I think that we could play with them. I think that we for some reason scheduling messed us up in a little bit, and I think we just weren't really about it. They're a good team, but I think that we will overcome and we will win against the Titans. We will beat the Titans. Next up, who we facing? The Kansas City Chiefs. I still think the Kansas City Chiefs are the better team. They got extremely better on the offensive line. So by the time that we get into our bye week, we'll be 5-1. So Pittsburgh, Miami, Washington, Houston, lost to Kansas City, win against Tennessee, bye week. So we're 5-1. Then we face Miami out of the bye week. I think we take that game too. We had a week to prepare for them. We take that game. Give us that. Jacksonville against the rookie, we'll take that. The Jets, we'll take that one too. So right now, 5-1, 6-1, 7-1, 8-1. 8-1 going into the later months of the year. Then we go against the Colts. I think we lose to the Colts. All right? So now we're 8-2. New Orleans, we beat the New Orleans Saints. We're 9-2. New England, we beat New England 10-2. Tampa Bay, we lose. We're 10-4. Carolina, 11-4. New England, 12-4. Am I getting this right? Am I doing my math correctly? Atlanta, 13-4. And the Jets, we're probably going to be sitting our guys, so we'll lose to the Jets. My math seems wrong. 13-4. But I'm all messed up about with the way the games are being played, right? With 17 games. We may lose 4 games next year. Let me put it that way. I said we lose 4 games. I think we do all right. Did I do my math wrong? I said 4 losses. But I think we potentially only lose what? We lose to Kansas City. I think we lose to Indianapolis, and we lose to Tampa. That's right. So we lose 3 games. I'll take it, man. 14-3. Let's go. I like that. I like my chances. 14-3. We need to get a bye. What we need to work towards is getting that bye. And we get that bye, we're laughing. But I honestly think we lose 3 games. No more than 4. No more than 4. 13-4 is a very respectable record. I think we should be able to take the division again, and we keep it rolling. The games that will give us fits, I'm giving us the edge over the Jets only because they got a rookie coach coming in and being their new guy and a rookie quarterback. Tagovailoa, I'm not convinced on Tagovailoa. I'm not convinced on him. I'm just not. Cam Newton and the New England Patriots, we may split one game. We may. And I'm not even convinced of that. But nonetheless, there's nothing wrong with going, losing 4 games? Max? As long as we make the playoffs, that's all that matters to me. That's all that matters to me. We make the playoffs. Make the playoffs. That's it. Folks, I wanted to touch on something else before I got out of here. So we had our guest, Scott Kennedy. I think it was fantastic. He really put it out there with Spencer Brown. And I was actually pleased to hear more about why he felt good about Spencer Brown. And things that I already knew, he just cemented for me. So when I look at this offensive line, it's about putting the best 5, right? But the best 5, you also need chemistry. Chemistry matters. And if there's great chemistry amongst Darrell Williams, John Feliciano, Mitch Morse, Deion Dawkins, and Cody Ford, and there happen to be good chemistry, you don't ruin that. You don't want to ruin that. But talent, sometimes you can't deny talent. And if the talent is there, you got to put the talent on the field and put your best 5. I don't know if this is a hot take. but I'm going to put it out there anyway. By week 1 of this season, there's going to be a new name in the lineup. And it's not at right tackle. And if that happens, it'll be 2. But I honestly believe that Forrest Lamp, barring any injuries, will overtake the left guard position. It'll be Deion Dawkins, Forrest Lamp, Mitch Morse, John Feliciano, Daryl Dawkins. Excuse me, Daryl Dawkins. Let me start that crap all over again. You got me saying Daryl Dawkins. Daryl Williams. Now, here's my hot take. This is what I want to get to. There's going to be a change on the line. And most people are expecting it to happen, but what's going to happen is what's going to throw things apart and really shake things up. Cody Ford will not be on the team by week 1 of the season. Hot take. What are you talking about, Rico? He was injured. Give him a chance. That's the problem. They brought in Forrest Lamp for a reason that they think that, I don't think he's ready to be that guy. So we're going to bring in a Forrest Lamp. Forrest Lamp will beat out Cody Ford. You can't have a second-round guy sitting on the bench when you just drafted Ike Butker that took over and did a decent job. I'm not saying he's great, but he did a decent job. We didn't really falter when Ike Butker came in. So Forrest Lamp coming onto the squad, takes over at left guard. Now it leaves Cody Ford out in limbo. He's in Cordy Glenn territory. You know what I'm saying? Traded. That's a hot take. It's not a popular one. It's a hot take. We'll find out and see how it plays out. But we may not see Cody Ford on the roster. We're gonna find someone to take on this individual in Cody Ford. Don't kill me. Don't kill me on social media. You guys are gonna get after me on social media. I'm not gonna be upset. It's a hot take. Those are supposed to be hot takes. Chris Jenke doesn't like it though. Chris Jenke says, whoa, hold on a second. Barker couldn't have played worse than Winters. Actually, if you look it up, Barker, down the stretch, played decent. He played some decent football. You have him in between Mitch Morse. You have him in between Dawkins. You'll learn a couple of things. Do I want Cody Ford to be traded? Of course not. But when it comes to winning plays, Cody Ford hasn't been winning a lot of plays. He loses more plays than he wins them. Sorry, not sorry. It's just what it is. So this is a major offseason for Cody Ford. Major. Because Forrest Lamp didn't sign with the Bills thinking that he was going to come in as a backup. He's coming for that top spot, left guard. So by week 1, Deion Dawkins, Forrest Lamp, Mitch Morse, John Feliciano, Daryl Williams, asterisk Spencer Brown. We'll see how that plays out. But that left guard position is going to be a tough one. That's going to be a three-man battle. Really a 2-man, but Ike Barton's going to be in there. If you're comfortable with who you had, you don't bring back Ike Butker for depth. You want to see what happens at that left guard position. It's competition. We're about to find out. Sometimes you need to get your return in your investment. They invested a second-round draft pick in Cody Ford to be a right tackle, then a right guard. Then they flipped him over to left side. Then he got hurt. But before he got hurt, it wasn't great. Just saying. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings here. I'm just trying to, you know what I mean? Speak objectively. That's something that I could very well see. We could very well see it. Your best ability, you've heard it, sounds very cliche, but your best ability is your availability. And if you're not available, what good are you to this team? I don't need you on the sideline clapping and say, yeah, good job, guys. Woo, woo, woo. I need you on the damn field. Just saying. Anyway. I digress. My guy Pierre the Kingpin says, yo, do we want the best 5 or do we want to be in our feeling? God damn, let's put it out there. Do we want to be in our feelings or put the best 5 on the field and not care about whose feelings we're hurting? These are grown men getting grown paychecks. But it's not about the paychecks, Rico. Is that a good white man voice? It's not about the paycheck. It's about the continuity. We need the guys being on the field that give you chemistry. I agree. I do. However, talent, in my opinion, supersedes all. If I'm just better than you, I can work on my chemistry with these guys. But I'm better than you. I know I'm better than you. And coaches see it. You can't deny my skill set. I'll work on my chemistry. But if I constantly dominate the person in front of me all day, every day, but the politics come in and Coach McDermott says, I want my veteran guys on there. Man, bump all that shit. Put your best 5 out there. Get out of our feelings. We're an emotional group. We're a very emotional group of people. Get out of our feelings. Which brings me into my next segue. Segue into this. Speaking of feelings, my guy, Cole Beasley, had some Twitter back and forth with people. And it was all about the vaccine. Oh, no, don't talk about politics. Don't talk about sports and politics. I don't like them mixing. Guys, it's unrealistic for you to say you don't want politics mixing within sports. Because when these players take the helmet off and take the jersey off, they're just like you and I, affected by all these social things that are happening around. So for them to just be an athlete and speak on nothing for your pleasure, they're just going to tell you to go fuck off. Sorry. Feel me? So Cole Beasley gets on and he starts having conversations with people talking about the vaccine. And I've never met so many nasty people, know-it-all people online. Oh my goodness. And Twitter is a cesspool for it. But did you hear this? You didn't read about that. You're wrong. Holy jumpins, man. Fam, if I feel some type of way and you feel that way, we disagree. Yeah, but you're hurting everyone else. You're this, you're that. Oh my goodness, man. The division over one's opinion. You're going to be the reason the Bills don't do this. Oh my gosh. Yo, I'm scrolling through and reading this shit. And I'm like, if I'm a player, I just want to shut the fuck up, man. Let's have a conversation instead of you telling me I'm this, that, and the third, and I'm vile, and I'm... Yo, I could only laugh. And I'm thinking like the players must be like, yo, I can't stand some of this, folks. You have an opinion? I have an opinion. You don't like my opinion? I don't like yours. Okay. We agree to disagree. But don't you dare tell some people to agree to disagree. Golly. It was listen, is craziness to me, man. It's craziness to me. I just had to get that off, man. Yo, fam. If someone puts something online that you're just like, I totally disagree with that. If you're ready to get into it with that person, be ready to like get into it with that person, but respectfully. You don't gotta bash the person. You don't gotta, you don't have to like attack the person personally and say this, that, and the third. People are blocking people. I blocked him. Yo. Oh man. Grown people acting like children. Cassie Stewart. What's up, Cassie? We are divided over everything in this country, unfortunately, thanks to one man. I'll stop. Yo, we've been divided before. Some people just bring it out of people. So some people are like, but sports is supposed to unite us. It is supposed to. It's supposed to unite us, right? We're all there to root for one common thing. the Bills. So if you have something to say, I have something to say, we can disagree. But you know what we do like together? We like winning football. We like when Josh Allen throws for 4 touchdown passes. Whether vaccinated or not, we're going to root for the guy. Whether vaccinated or not, we're going to root for freaking Cole Beasley. Man. Unreal. I mean, shit. PVC fam just said it, man. How about, if you don't like it, scroll down to the next tweet. Unless somebody calls you out personally and says, yo, PVC fam, you're an idiot. You're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. Then PVC fam has every right to say, shut the fuck up. You don't know me, first and foremost. But if they're generally speaking, my gosh, keep it moving. Keep it moving. Richard Rush, what's up, Richard? Richard says, yo, Rico, I had a woman tell me, if you don't get the vaccine, you're hurting everyone else. I said, my body, my choice. Right. And I got the shot. But for the other reasons. And it's a great reason. Hey, everyone has their reasons for getting it. But it's just not your business as to why I got it. You're hurting everyone else. It's just, and you know what? And I'm gonna get this and I'm gonna be done with it. There's just so many controversies with this vaccine thing, because I saw somebody say, well, the doctor said so, and you know more than the doctors then, right? There are so many doctors in the world. They study from the same book, right? But different results. So who do you believe? This doctor said, don't do this. Doctor, this doctor said, do this. So we're being yanked left, right, center. And then here we are saying you're wrong. And you don't see the reason why people are kind of questioning certain things, because they've just been all over the place. Do this, wear a mask, don't wear a mask. You could do this, but you can't do this. Anyway, I'm done. I just wanted to get it there. What I wanted to say was, yo, just chill, everybody. Just chill out. God damn. We'll enjoy the Bills game. We'll be winners. We'll win the whole thing again. The whole AFC East, the division. And then we'll win the whole thing, the Super Bowl. And then we'll all celebrate together. Unless you're not vaccinated, right? I digress. Folks, that's my time. You guys have been great. You guys are always great. You guys always support, and I really do appreciate the fact that you guys come in and give me your time, because time is important. Time is very important, and you guys have given me your time to hang out with me and do all this, so it's very much appreciated. Very much appreciated, because you guys could be doing anything else other than sitting with me. So I appreciate your time. I appreciate your love. I appreciate the support. You guys keep supporting Buffalo Fanatics. You guys keep supporting us, and we're very appreciative of that. Very much appreciative of that. So that being said, you guys have yourself a great evening. Guys, be kind to one another, man. Golly, it's just easier to just say kind words. That's it. You'll be surprised how you can make someone's day. You can make someone's day. And you can certainly crush someone's day by being the negative thing in their life. Be the positive. You know, man, I'm always preaching love, man. Love, respect, all of that. So my man Pierre says, hit that horn one more time. I will. But before I do, let me give a little, because you guys know what it is. I'm playing with my toys right now. I'm trying to get the right vibe. You feel me? But until next time, bye. You guys have yourself a great night, man. And hopefully, man, these freaking Canadian borders open up that I can come and watch my Bills. But until then, it ain't going to open up. You guys, I'm going to have to watch the games from over here, north of the border, and then do what we do. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? Same time, same channel, same everything for the post-game press. You know how we do, man. And until next time, let me get my music up, because we're going to end the show like this. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I hope you guys enjoyed the guest. We had Scott Kennedy showing love. Go hit that man's channel, YouTube. He's at 600, 700 viewers. Let's get his views all the way up. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Smash that like before you get out of here. Subscribe if you haven't. We are on the road to 20,000 subscribers. 20,000 subscribers. Let's try to get there. So, hey, enjoy your night. It's the Rico Report. It's the Buffalo Fanatics. Have yourself a good night. It's your boy. And I'm gone.